Welcome, fight fans, to another edition of the TitleFight.com Roundtable. We have Brandon Stubbs and Gordie Tamayo here. We're going to go over a couple interesting bouts that have been in the works, and one that just finished off this last weekend. On the NBC Sports Network, we had Curtis Showtime Stevens take on Saul Roman in a pretty interesting bout. I mean, a lot of people were calling it like this. Brandon, I know you had your thoughts prior to this bout as well. I don't think a whole lot of people maybe thought it was going to end as quickly as it did. You know, just over 2 minutes in round number one, we had Stevens who came through with some counter left hooks, which are like his signature punch here, and just laid out Roman to the canvas here just a little bit too much, and don't know if he expected that power. What was your perception on that overall matchup there, Brandon?
Absolutely stunned on how quickly Stevens went in and was able to go for the kill. He saw his man hurt, and he just really went at it. And my fear was, after the first knockdown, was, okay, Stevens is going to go in, he's going to blow his wad, he's going to be gassing out because he's not going to be able to get the guy out. But sure enough, he was able to land another one of those hooks, and he literally laid him out, and just did it really in spectacular fashion, which is something he really needed to do if he's lobbying for one of his big-time fights here in the middleweight division.
Exactly. So him coming up, I mean, let's give Roman a little bit of credibility here. He has a resume on him, right? He's got some wins under his belt. I don't think he's ever been manhandled like that in his whole career there. But in reality, matching him up in comparison to, let's say, a Triple G or a Peter Quillen, how does that actually size up? I mean, with the win that he's got, pretty impressive. He was able to lay him out there in the first round. Did we see enough from Curtis Stevens to say, hey, yeah, the man warrants a shot at a guy like Triple G or a Peter Quillen, or is this just on a whole nother level here?
You know, I really do think it's time for him to step up and get some competition, some more mainstream, big-name competition there in the division. Should he be awarded maybe a title shot right now? You know, I can, in many ways, I want to say why not. At this rate, the Triple G fight would be interesting. The Quillen fight would be interesting, but, you know, he may have to kind of, you know, take it down a notch to fight a guy who, you know, maybe in a Martin Murray or someone to that degree, or Macklin, excuse me, is maybe being his next fight, you know, a guy who's been, you know, who's that tier below championship tier, but will be a major step up from what Curtis has been fighting here as of late. So I think that would make the most sense. If he wants to do the payday now, it sounds like, you know, it's a pretty good chance he could be a part of a November 2nd card that's being rumored for Triple G's next fight on HBO, which, you know, if he wants to take the money, go ahead. Do I think he's ready for that? I don't think so. I think it would end very violently, but it would be entertaining in the few rounds that it would go.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, just the thought of matching these guys up is pretty entertaining to myself. You know, Curtis talks a big game, and thus far he's backed it up. You know, he's been able to do so. Triple G's kind of the silent killer here. So you just always kind of wonder about a guy like that and how he would match up faring against, you know, a guy to that level there, which, you know, just following Triple G, the man's a workhorse, doesn't seem to let off the gas at any point in time. So it'd be interesting, very interesting to see how that matches up. You know, moving forward, we have another set of potential bouts that were set to take place, been kind of brewing in the mix for a long time here, both of which these fighters were, you know, constantly looking for some type of fight that was going to set them up with a major payday against the money man himself, Floyd Mayweather. And we're talking about Khan and Alexander here now. Earlier today, it seems like things have been getting heated up a little bit with people pointing the finger back and forth about why the deal never got done. Khan's last outing here, just recently here, not the best performance in my own personal opinion there. Alexander, he's got his quirks as well, but obviously he's a very skillful and talented man himself. And talks have been in the works about them actually landing something that's going to be able to take place over in Dubai. Brandon, what are the possibilities of this fight actually getting finalized finally? And what do you think would be the overall outcome of these two getting in the ring together?
You know, I hope the fight does happen. You know, one of the latest rumors that, I don't know if it's been 100% confirmed, is that Amir Khan may be looking to get underneath Al Haymon's management, who also manages Devin Alexander. So one would think if that actually goes into plans and becomes official, the fight would be easier to make. both of these guys kind of need each other. I mean, right now, Amir Khan is a guy who's really searching and wanting to become important in the 147-pound division. Excuse me. He wants to become important there, but he needs a big one on his resume in order to do that. KhanAlexander is a title holder there in the division. He has a name, and he's kind of also searching for the same. You know, he did not look entertaining at all in his last bout out. Fans booed him. He understood that. You know, it's just one of those things that these two really kind of need each other. It's going to be almost like an elimination match. You know, the loser would pretty much be exiled from the 147-pound division. The winner would go on and could, like you said, possibly build their name in the Mayweather sweepstakes for May of next year. So it's a fight that needs to happen. These two really do need each other. It makes the most sense for them to fight. As far as how it would play out, quite honestly, I think KhanAlexander will whitewash him. I really don't believe in Khan's chin. Granted, Khan has great hand speed. I know he's got a new trainer he's going to be in for a second time around when his next fight happens. But I'm still not sold on Khan in his skill set and his chin, for that matter. And I think Alexander could pack a punch that could lay him out.
It almost seems like this fight does have to happen overseas, as neither one of these fighters are actually a real significant draw in their own areas here, respectively, in the States here. Do you agree with that, Brent? You think it actually just makes logical sense for these guys to be setting up shop somewhere outside of the States?
I would say yes, unless you can maybe, add some other people onto a card and maybe have it, at the Barclays Center, which seems to be Golden Boy's home away from home. That's their home turf now. Alexander's made it clear he doesn't want to go over to the UK and fight in Amir's backyard, which I can completely understand that. Dubai was floating around, but Kevin Cunningham, who's KhanAlexander's trainer, has pretty much said, in order for that to happen, they're really going to have to cut a very large check, which by the sounds of it, no one's really willing to do to make that happen. So it's either going to be somewhere on a neutral site over in the UK, for Devin to go over there, or they put him a part of a card here in the States that's stacked, that has a lot of fights that fans will be interested in, because by themselves, those two gentlemen are not a large draw here in the States at all.
Kind of a lot at stakes, with either one of these guys, it seems like at the moment with Alexander and Khan. But one other series that's going to be taking place, or another fight card that's coming up, Brandon, I know you've probably got a chance to hear wind of this here as well. But Equinity Sports, formerly known as Equinity Sports, now moved into a partnership here with Iron Mike Productions, and it looks like the man himself, Iron Mike, has moved roles here and is moving into the whole promoters realm. Recently, one of the men involved with helping him actually piece this stuff together here said that Mike Tyson's already the best promoter in boxing, because when Mike talks, boxing people listen, which really does had myself scratching my head at least there. What's your opinion on Mike Tyson jumping in the promoter's seat?
I've always felt this way, and I doubt if this thought will ever change. Anytime Mike Tyson is involved with boxing, it's a good thing. Mike's one of those guys. He made a lot of money as a fighter. He went down a bad road. He lost a lot of money as a fighter. So he's going to kind of be able to guide these guys that he gets underneath his promotional banner into the right way. He was a Don King, so he's going to know the complete opposite way of doing things and actually doing it the right way and treating his fighters with respect and with dignity, and also being able to get them a check, and a large check. Mm-hmm. So I really do think that's going to be a good thing for boxing. I know he's, I saw today he has John David Jackson is now going to be working with him as well.
Right.
Former titleist. So it's going to be interesting. One thing that kind of threw me off when Mike said he wanted to do the promoting thing is that he saw what 50 Cent was doing and he got inspired, which really had a lot of us kind of scratching our heads like, okay, out of all people, 50 cents, but all right, I get it, and it seems like Mike is actually now putting his whole heart into it. And one thing that we've definitely seen in the change over Mike Tyson over the last 4 to 5 years is when he puts his heart and his mind into something, he really goes with it. You can see that with his one-man show that he traveled across the country with. It was a huge hit, and now he's going to do the same thing, put that same heart and that same effort factor into the promoting game, and I wish him all the best. It's a very dirty, cutthroat world, but if anybody can maintain and intimidate and be able to actually deal with those characters, it's going to be Mike Tyson, because nothing they're going to be able to say or do to him is going to intimidate him or run him out of the sport.
Yeah, the man's been through, hell and back already in his personal life and in his boxing career there, so don't think a whole lot else would actually be able to shake him in that respect. So I think it's a very good fit for him, and a good move for him. Well, Boxing Heads, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next week for it as well. Brandon Stubbs and Gordie Tamayo here signing off. Have a good one.